Welcome back to UnPerfect with Alexi, Lavi. This is the perfect place for unperfect people. And I'm so excited to have you back on the podcast today. If you guys don't know, Lavi is a creator that I look up to so much. She is in the beauty. She's in the beauty industry. She's also in the skin positivity. If you guys aren't watching this on video, Lavi and I both struggle with hormonal cystic acne. Or is yours hormonal?
Definitely.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm diagnosing her. It's hormonal for sure.
Yes, no, it is.
What's really cool about Lavi is she took her struggles and she has helped millions of people feel more comfortable in their skin by just being open and positive and showing the real side of social media. Like, one of my favorite pieces of content of yours is when you do the texture checks where you're like, so she has a full face of makeup on, and then she'll show what it looks like if you were to look like on an Instagram photo. And then she'll do different lightings by putting a flashlight up to her face. And I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever, because people can see the texture and the bumps, and it just makes people feel so much more normal. When did you start doing that? What gave you the courage to start doing that?
I think the biggest thing for me is like, because I would always, do my makeup, and then people would tell me, oh, like, I wish I could do my makeup like this, but it doesn't look like this to me in person, and I'm like, well, mine doesn't look like that in person either. So then I just started showing people what my makeup also looks like away from the ring light. And I remember my most popular post on Instagram, it was like one of those like lighting checks where I just took like a photo in front of the ring light and a photo like right beside the ring light where the light was like off. And I think that static post is at like 1.3 million likes, which is just like insanity, but mostly because people thought I was like, they're like, this has to be photoshopped, like in one you're wearing makeup and the other you're not. I'm like, literally no. And they're like, your hair's different when I'm like, well, I'm like holding my hair back with the photo, so I'm like, no guys, like this is literally like not retouched, nothing, like it's just lighting. And I think that kind of blew people's minds a little bit, because I don't think a lot of people think about that when they're scrolling on social media. So that kind of inspired me to just keep posting these. And now with like every tutorial I do, I always show like, away from the ring light, bathroom lighting, natural lighting, because like it changes so much how your skin looks.
It does. And after you first posted that, did you have those like anxious jitters of like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think?
No, because like I was already like posting, like at this point I was already posting my skin so much on social media. I was just kind of inspired to like do like, and I did already a couple posts similar to that, but I think that one was like such a drastic change, especially because I had makeup on, like, so when I had like the ring light right up to my face, you can't see any of my texture because I had the makeup on. So I think that was like the first post that was like super, super drastic change that people were like, this is crazy. But no, like I had no like shame or anxiousness because like I was already posting everything online, so I'm like, I don't care. And to everyone like leaving me hate, I'm like, y'all are just boosting this post even more, so thank you.
Isn't that so funny about hate comments? Like, you can either let them tear you down and shut you off, or you could be like, ooh, this is helping my engagement. We are boosting the algorithm. You're just sending this to more people.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm like, if you're sending it to 10 people hating on me, like, hey, you send it to 10 people, thank you.
I know, like sometimes it's hard to get people to do that with really like simple, good content, like the content that we're trying to get to go viral. It's hard to get 10 people to send it. So you really do have to be polarizing in the online space.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, I think that's what really, as you said, like kind of makes content go viral is when people have like a lot to discuss in the comments and they're going back and forth. I do remember on that post, like my best friend was like reading all the comments. She was like replying to something like, this is not Photoshop. Like, this is like, because people were accusing me of that. So then I made a video literally showing people like, look, like I'm not doing anything. I'm just moving it. And then that also like did pretty well. And I think it just shook a lot of people because they were like, even if they like thought it might be true, they were kind of telling themselves it can't be true because we look online and just see all these perfect looking people, and the reality is it's like nobody looks like that.
It's not real. It is not. But I think that's what's really cool about your content and your page. And I know you've been doing YouTube for 10 years now, you said?
I'll be 10 in May.
Oh my gosh, 10 years of putting yourself out there like this. Like, what gave you What gave you the audacity to put yourself out there? I feel like honestly though, there's so many people that I talk to. Like even this last weekend, I was at a Halloween party. I ran into one of my ex cheerleader, like we cheered together in high school.
Yeah.
And she was like, honestly though, like you're just from Marysville, which is where I live. And it's like 40 minutes north of Seattle. Like it's nothing special. But she's like, you helped me realize that you don't have to move to LA or New York or any of these big
Right.
places to make it. Like you're literally like, she's like, no offense, but you're from Marysville. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing here. And I'm like, yeah. So what gave you the confidence to put yourself out there? Because I think so many people want to, but they just are scared.
Yeah, no, and I have these conversations so much with people, like when I do bring up that I do YouTube, people are like, oh, I used to have a YouTube channel and I got like this many subscribers, and then people made fun of me, so I just stopped. And that always makes me so sad because it's like, like you never know where it could have gone if you just kept going. And one thing I say a lot is like we need to stop fearing judgment so much and start fearing regret, because at the end of the day, like, if you look back at your life when you're old and gray, like, are you going to be like, yeah, like I'm happy I didn't make those choices because people judge me, or are you gonna be like, oh, I should have just like said fuck it to those people and like gone through with it, right? So with my YouTube channel, like I started mostly because I loved watching other people on YouTube, and I started in like the DIY, like room decor, just like the typical like OG lifestyle creator type videos in 2014. And it was really my brother who like told me that I should start his channel because I was already like watching these videos all the time. And then I was really into beauty, so then I started kind of doing beauty reviews, and I didn't like go into it thinking, yeah, I'm gonna post about my acne, because I didn't even have acne at the time. I was like 13, like I had like baby skin. And then once I did start developing like teenage breakouts, it's not that I was like trying to like post it, it was more, when I was going to do a makeup review, like there were no filters on YouTube back then, so I just was makeup free at the start of the video and then applied the makeup on. And then over the years I started getting more comments that were like, oh my gosh, like thank you for showing your real skin at the start, like it's so nice to see makeup applied on acne. Or I would do a review on like an acne treatment or something. So it kind of like snowballed. I don't think the intent to be an acne positivity creator was there, but because I just like had no way to like cover it up when I was just trying out these products, it just kind of started building. And the more comments I got regarding my acne, I was like, okay, like more and more people are interested in this, like let me just share my journey along the way. So that's kind of how that happened.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my computer's like there's a lag in this, but we're gonna be fine with it. But that is so inspiring because I feel like there's again so many people who feel like they can't show up, especially because they have acne. And I know our episode went live this week, and I got a message from someone in your audience who was like, I was listening to your podcast with Lavi, and it's just nice to hear people not specifically talking about like, oh, different like tips and tricks you can use to get rid of acne, but just different ways that you can live with it and just be
Yeah.
okay with it and continue living your life. And I think it's really inspiring the fact that you started YouTube before you had acne, and when you started developing acne, it didn't stop you. Because I feel
Right.
like if I was that age when I started and I started getting acne, I would have definitely been like, I am not going to show up anymore. This is embarrassing. But it's so cool to hear that you just pushed through and it wasn't even a second thought to you.
I think for a while I just kept telling myself like I don't actually have acne. I was like, it's
Ooh,
just like a little
Talolo.
phase. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, it's just like, 'cause, everyone tells you like, oh, it's just teenage breakouts, like it'll go away. So I was very much in that headspace. And I don't think until I was like maybe like 18 where I was like, like how long is this gonna take?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I kind of started posting more about it, because I was, using different treatments and doing different things to obviously try and get rid of it. And then that just kind of opened that whole door up to the acne positivity space. So it definitely like took a while, but the biggest thing I tell people, and like you said too, like, it's great that we're all trying to find things that work for us. And obviously anyone who has acne wants to get rid of it in, the long term. But I think we talked about this before too, like it doesn't happen overnight, and there's no reason for you to like sit and cry in a corner until it does go away, maybe eventually. So might as well like take that control back, because like you can't control the acne like in itself like right away. Like from one day to another, but you can control how you feel about it to an extent, I think. So why would I, like, if it's already, you know, hurting my face and doing this and this, why would I let it like impact the rest of my life and like rob me from experiences that I could be having? And that's the biggest thing, right? Like I get people asking me like, I have a date, like should I cancel it? I have like a party this weekend, should I cancel that? I have a trip with like my boyfriend's family or whatever, like, you know. And I'm like, why? Like imagine years from now you look back and you're like, I said no to like X, Y, and Z things because I had some pimples on my face. Like when you look at it that way, like how sad does that sound, you know?
It's because it's so temporary. And in
Yeah.
that perspective, the perspective that Lavi just gave us, like if you cancel, if you choose to rob yourself of right now because of something that's going to go away, it will inevitably go away. You're not going to have the same zit forever.
Yeah.
Like you're just robbing yourself from your life. And I think, unfortunately, so many of people who suffer with acne end up doing that because, and this is my theory on acne and society in general. Number one, there's not enough representation in the main media, in the
Mhm.
mainstream media for acne prone skin and people who have acne, which is crazy because 95% of people in the freaking world who breathe air have acne or they've
Yeah.
dealt with acne. Like it is so common, but still there's not that representation in the mainstream media. And then secondly, for some reason, people don't understand acne in the way that they should with how common it is because they'll still leave comments. Like I've had comments on my posts that are like Freddy Krueger, pizza face, you need to wash your face. Like people still feel okay to leave comments like that. So it just shows there's such a lack of education around it. And I think in general, for some reason, people feel like it's okay to shame others when they have
Yeah.
acne, when in reality, acne only affects the person who has it.
I totally agree. And it's like, what does like commenting those things like do? Like it's not gonna help anyone. It's like honestly, like when I get comments like that, it's just sad because I know that if that person ever dealt with acne, like it would like take over their whole life because
Mm-hmm.
they hold such a, and I oftentimes say in a way like there's a lot that having acne has taught me, and in a way I'm like, you know, trying to find like the reasons behind like why, you know, you go through certain things in life. I think it's in a way a coping mechanism, and for me it's like, you know, I have acne and like yeah, it sucks a lot of times, but look at what I've been able to do with it. And not saying like I hope I have acne for the rest of my life, like no, I'm still going to try and get rid of it, but like I've been able to turn it into a positive thing with my content. You've done the same. And when I see these comments from people who are just like so low that they have to like hate on someone else and their situation, it's very clear that that person would not be able to find the happiness if they were in a situation like that. Or maybe they do have acne themselves and they're just so mad that you're able to show up in a video and post yourself and they can't do the same, you know? And that's why I say like I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful that I have gone through this experience with acne because I don't put as much of my energy and worth into how I look anymore. I think it's like, you know, I talked about this with my boyfriend actually in an episode we did on like dating with acne, and he said like how he wasn't really affected by like how my skin looked because he's like overall appearance is like the more important thing, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
And people look at people with acne and they're like, oh, you're unhygienic. It's like you have to look at the bigger picture, you know, like yeah, I just think like there's a lot, as you said, like misjudgment with that, you know, not enough education in that space. And a lot of people make a lot of assumptions like straight off the bat that
Yeah.
you've never washed your face once in your life.
It's all just a walking, talking projection of how people feel about themselves. But it's almost 2024, people. Why the hell are we still making comments on people's appearance? Like one of
Yeah.
my friends, she posted a video of her dancing and she's getting divorced. So she was like talking about like the glow up she's had after her
Mm,
divorce. And then people were just commenting like on like how, you know, she's going to die from eating McDonald's or something like that. Like they were commenting on her appearance, on her weight. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why is it almost 2024 and we still feel like we have the audacity and the balls and the privilege to comment on other people's appearance? Like, I just genuinely, after dealing with acne, I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why people
mm-hmm.
feel like it's okay to say anything about other people's appearances because at the end of the day, how somebody else looks has zero effect on your life in your
Yeah.
day-to-day whatsoever.
Yeah. No, and it's very misjudged, right? Like someone can look at me and be like, oh, like, have you even tried skincare once in your life, when they don't know the story of literally I've tried every single product on the market, basically. Like I do this for a living, you know? So it's
Mhm.
like it's very easy to make judgments, and we all do it, you know, we're all guilty of it, but it's like so different when you go out of your way to comment on someone's post about it, right? But
Yeah,
like,
you can bite your tongue, sir.
yeah, yeah, just yeah. Yeah, exactly. But like I think also like when you do put yourself on the internet, you're kind of, you know, opening up that door to judgment and opinions, because that's what social media brings. And
That's
for
true.
anyone who maybe is scared of like wanting to go on social media, but they're scared of like the judgment, like that is just something that comes with it, and you can't take it personally. Like that's the biggest thing I can say there, is like you seriously cannot take it personally, because it's just people behind a keyboard who know literally nothing about you. They're just making a judgment off like the 5-second video they saw of you.
That's so true. And that's such a great point. Like you genuinely, if you have had this calling or like feeling in your heart of like, you know, I want to be a content creator, I want to put myself out there, I want to bring awareness to a greater cause, like with the good that you get, which is like the trips and the PR boxes and the lives changed and the products and like whatever. You also have to know that you're going to get the bad with it
Oh, yeah.
because you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah. But you can't let like that, you know, stop you again, like just like fearing that judgment is like so bad, because like you can't let like these people who like literally have no effect on your life, all these people like who maybe potentially be like hating on you, because as we said in the very beginning of this episode, right? Like the more people that were commenting on that one post I had, like made it blow up that much, you know? So it's like you also have to thank the haters sometimes for helping your engagement too. So
I
it's
know.
all a package deal.
When I have really low engagement, I'm like, can I just get some hate comments on here? Because they drive it. Like the videos with hate comments go so viral.
Oh
Like one
yeah.
time, one time I did this like get unready with me, and I'm like, oh, I'll show you what a catfish I am. And like honestly, I don't feel like
Mhm.
I really looked that different, but I had all of these fuck boys in my comments being like,
Yep.
oh my God, like they literally just were so dumbfounded
Oh
that
yeah.
I had acne. I'm like, you guys obviously like it's giving 13-year-old in middle school. Like you
Yeah.
obviously have no idea.
Yeah. No, seriously. Like it's always the like, as you said, like the I don't even want to say men, because like all the like boys out there who just like cannot, and I always laugh at their comments, because they'll be like, guys, like be careful out there, or like yeah, like
Be
catfish,
careful
or
out there. Yes,
yeah,
that's always the one. Be careful. Be safe, men. Or they're
yeah,
like, oh,
be
let's take
safe.
them. They're like, let's take them on a date swimming. Our
Yeah,
first
yeah,
date,
yeah.
let's go swimming.
I always reply to those comments with a video of like taking off my makeup, and I find it so funny, like so funny, and they do nothing but bring me more good engagement, because of one of
Uh-huh.
those comments from one of those boys like hating on me. Megan Trainor commented on my video,
No, she
like
did
thank
not.
you, she did, and I
What?
was like thank you. It's like
Oh my
thank you.
gosh. But
So
isn't
it's
that
like
funny how when you respond to the hate comments, like you get two camps of people. You get the people who are like, fuck yeah, great clap back. And then you get the people who are like, just ignore them. Like, no, I'm not ignoring them because it's
well,
fun and it drives my engagement.
and it's also like you know, like I'm not saying you have to like don't reply to like every hate comment you get, but it's like when you do it that way with a video, it's just showing other people who might be like struggling with an insecurity that you have, that like to not like just take it, you know, take it lightheartedly, and to not take it so seriously, right? So I think that's like a fun way to do it, where you just like don't take it to heart. But yeah, it's always those like boys that so annoying. Like when they're like, oh my gosh, like imagine like waking up next to her and getting scared. I'm like, okay.
You're like, you don't even know what it's like to wake up next to a
Yeah.
woman, bitch.
No, you've never no, literally I read all these like dumb like comments, and you always know it's like the guys, like it's always the guys who like, you know, haven't like never even like gone out on a date with a girl, or else like they wouldn't be saying this kind of shit in your comments, you know? And
Right?
I always laugh at them.
You can sniff them from a mile away. They're all the freaking same. They're all
Yeah.
the same. And it always gives middle school boy with BO and he's never gotten laid, like ever.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, if you judge somebody's worth based on their appearance, that says so much more about you than it does them.
Yeah. No profile picture, user 17 blah blah blah.
769. Yeah, 76971.
You know what kills me though is when I get comments from girls hating on me and I click their profile and their bio's like Jesus loves everyone or spread love. I'm like, oh
Oh.
my.
So, okay, I have a perfect example of this. So I had one.
Give it to
This was
me.
like this is a hate comment that I will never forget because I was
Okay.
like, "Ooh, ma'am." So there was this lady who left a comment on one of my posts with acne, and they're like, "Damn, if she wasn't married, she'd be struggling for real to like find a man." And in her bio, she wrote that she was like a mom and a horse girly and Jesus loves and she's a cheer coach. And so I cheered in high school and I
Mm-hmm.
clapped back at her because I was like, I hope you do not talk to your athletes the way that you
This
talk to
way, yeah.
people on the internet because you could literally make or break somebody. Like I knew when
Yeah.
I was that age with acne and cheering, like if my coach said something like that to me, I would have been ruined. Like you're so impressionable at a young age,
Oh yeah.
which is why I think our work, you and me, is so important for the younger generations
Mm-hmm.
because like they are at this their hormones are raging, they're like they don't understand life quite yet, but they're also becoming more independent and they're becoming smelly and they're like trying to figure out the way of the world. And then to have someone come in and bully you on top of that, like, ooh, that it's hard. Like middle school, I call it my dark days for a reason. Like if you knew
Yep.
me in middle school, you did not. You no, that wasn't me.
Yeah, no, seriously. And also, like, that is why sometimes I reply to these comments and I make it very clear when I reply. It's like, I'm not replying this because this comment hurt me so much. I'm replying to this because if somebody else who is struggling with acne sees this comment and thinks, is that true? Should I be feeling that way? Like, that's why I reply to it, you know? And that's like the main driver because, as you said, like, we've come to a point where we're like, we don't care about these like stupid hate comments. But when you're at the start of your journey, like one comment like that can ruin everything and can set you back to like ground zero. So I totally agree with you. I remember getting a comment from like this guy and he left me like a whole paragraph about why he thought I was so ugly and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, this is like extreme. Like you took 5 minutes to comment this. I click on his profile. He's like father to 3 beautiful girls. I'm like, huh? And you spent your time like wasted on like a kid. Like I still consider myself like sometimes like a kid. Like I'm 22, but it's like you spent your time on my page telling me how ugly you think I am. Like what?
Oh, Daddy, you're off. You're missing the mark. It's time to go back to therapy, Father, because I fucking hope you don't talk to your daughters like that when they
Yep.
get a breakout and be like, oh my God, you need to get that fixed immediately.
Yeah.
That's another thing with acne. Why do other people specifically, look at someone with acne and go, you need to get rid of that or you're going to scar? Like it's almost like there's this pressure that they have on themselves that they can't help but project and word vomit onto you. Like if you don't fix your acne right now, you're gonna scar.
Yeah. Or but then when I like post a video because I like try not to like pick at my skin, pop my pimples, like I'll just pimple patch all the time, right? And I posted this video the other day where I had like a huge white head, but like I'm not gonna touch it because I'm just gonna put a pimple patch on it. And everyone in the comments like, why don't you pop it? Why don't you pop it? Why don't you pop it? I'm like,
Because I don't
right. So
want
like
to.
you guys are telling me like get rid of your acne faster, else you're gonna scar, and then you're like, oh, you should pop everything on your face. It's like
Yeah.
that
So
makes
you
no
scar.
sense.
Yeah, because if you guys don't know, this is acne 101. What you pick usually will leave a scar. Like I have this, if you're watching the video, I had this cyst right here and I named him Mark because he was there. And I think it was a good name because he legitimately left his mark after
Yeah.
I picked him. It's bad idea always. Don't pick your face, ice it, or pimple patch it like Lavi says.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pimple patch?
I have quite a few favorites. I would say like top favorite is probably Hero, just because they have like a bunch of different sizes and stuff.
Mm.
I also really like the ones from Ryle. I don't know if you ever tried them. They have
Is
like
it Rael?
yeah,
Is that how that's how you say it? I was like, rail.
I think it's Ryle. But they
Okay.
like they're like hormonal acne like brands. So like I love their stuff. Like they have really great pimple patches. But and I also like the fun ones sometimes, you know, like the Starface ones or whatever, like going out. I did see a video of Madison Beer the other day on YouTube where she was like talking about one of her songs or whatever, and she had like 5 of the Starface pimple patches on and like no makeup on. I'm like, This is so cool. Like
Yes.
she's doing like a full-on interview and she's just chilling in like her Starface patches.
I really hope we get to the point where, I think there's a movement happening. I think there's a tidal wave coming of like a barefaced, no makeup, like don't have to put on like the massive smoky eye to go out and feel confident. Like I think makeup is fun to play with
Oh
and
yeah.
whatnot,
So fun.
but I think that there's a new door that's opening that's
Yep.
like it's okay to go out barefaced and wear pimple patches and have breakouts
Well,
and be a human being.
that's also the thing people don't understand for some reason because people are like, well, if you love yourself so much, why do you wear makeup? I'm like,
Because it's fun, because I'm an artist. I'm an artiste and I want to
like
paint
there's
my face.
yeah, like it's like not that I have to wear it to go places. Like you will not, this year, like it's my last year of university, and I'm like, you cannot catch me wearing makeup to school. Like I'm not doing that at 6 a.m. You know, I used to like in first year and stuff, but like I've lost that will. But I'm still gonna do my makeup for fun. Like sometimes I do it right before I go to bed. Like no one sees me with it on. I just like film a TikTok because it's fun. So people like
Yeah.
can't wrap their heads around that. They're like, well, if you love yourself, then why do you cake on makeup? I'm like,
I don't
okay.
even have to answer to you, Your Honor. You are not my honor. You are a troll. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, one thing that I think my audience might not know about you, which I find to be the most fascinating thing in the world, is that you started a skincare brand specifically geared towards men. So
Yes.
why?
I know, and I've been getting like so like this is my most common question is like why men? Like why'd you go this way? Because I don't think anyone was expecting that from me. And you know, I have ideas in the future for things like I would say more targeted to my audience. But this was like something an opportunity that came my way. And you know, like I always think like when things come up, you kind of have to jump on them. And I met my co-founder last year when I was working in my project engineering job, and I was telling him every day like you need to wear sunscreen, you need to wear sunscreen. And he was like, "What? Like I don't even know what products to buy, blah blah blah." And then one day he asked me like, "What's the market like for like men's skincare?" And when I got home and was really thinking about it, I'm like, there's not that much out there, and if there is, like they're all very much like very like manly, like they smell like I don't even know, like Axe body wash, and they're just like extreme, you know.
You know the smell, guys.
Yeah,
You
you
know the
know what
smell
I'm
of a
talking
men's.
about.
You know men smells.
Yeah. So I'm like honestly, like I don't think there's that much out there. And then we just like got to talking and we're like, okay, well, how hard would it be to create a line? And I had some experience in like formulation. And I have a chemical engineering background, so I'm like honestly, like I think we can like kind of look into this and see what we can do. And we started that last year, and about 5 months later we finished our formulas, and then the rest of the year we spent on like packaging and getting all the like nitty gritty done. And then we launched a month ago in September. So it's been kind of crazy, but honestly like the main driver behind it was the fact that there is not much out there for men, right? And the thing is, I think men sometimes are scared to, or there's just too many skincare products, you know, like it's overwhelming if you know nothing about skincare. And that's why, like I say, the line isn't just for men. What women can use it too. It's really just for the person who, you know, is on the go, doesn't have a lot of time, doesn't want to do a bunch of research and like, hey, what do I really need to build out a skincare routine? Because our line just targets like the 3 easy steps of like sunscreen, antioxidants, cleanser, and then like a night cream with retinol in it. So it's like super, super simple. It's really all you need for like a base routine. And that was the driver behind it. So it's a bit removed from my content, I would say. But that's kind of nice too, in a way, because then I like get to work on a different project that's like a different side of things rather than like just like acne focus. So that was
Yeah.
the main driver. But I think it definitely shocked a lot of people. I would have been shocked too if I was like an outsider looking at it, but it's definitely not like necessarily, it's not my brand. And I mean it is my brand, I founded it, but it's like not my personal brand. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
different brand outside of like Lavinia Rusanda that I am contributing to. So that's the main
Yeah.
thing right there. Yeah.
Well, I think that's so cool though. And when I saw it, I was shocked, but in a good way. Like, hell yeah. Like that is so freaking smart. Like I can hardly get my husband to he's like, why don't you just wash your face with water? I'm like, tell me you know nothing
Right.
about skincare without
Yeah,
telling
without
me
telling
you
me.
know
Yeah.
nothing.
Well,
But
exactly, right?
but I think for like him, I know that you're so kind and sending a box over, and I'm so excited to have him try that. Like I'm gonna make you some UGC content on his face.
Oh, I
But
love
I'm
you. I'm
but
so
I'm
excited to
just
hear your thoughts though.
I know, but I'm like, okay, it would be so nice to get him on a routine where like
Mm,
he just takes care of his skin because
yeah.
he has really good genetics. Like both of his parents are stunning for their age, and they have really
Hmm.
good skin. But I'm like, if Riley's seeing everything that I have done for my skin and just where this has taken me, I'm like, we should do this. So the second that I saw that dropped, I was like, I need to get my hands on some of that. So I'm super excited. And I want to say I'm proud of you for that because that is
Thank
so
you.
cool. Like I think everyone, like you said, would have expected something more for like women with acne, not so much a men's skincare brand, but I think it is so needed in this market. Like there's really nothing that's geared toward men. In the name of it, guys, listen to this. 9 to 5. It's so smart because it targets that cliche, stereotypical, on the go, need a quick routine, but also
Yeah.
like, have you ever tried to take your man to the doctor? It's like they need it to be
Yeah.
beyond simple, beyond easy, and that's what you've created. So, snaps to you for filling the market.
No, thank you so much. And the thing is too, like I think there's so many amazing like acne products targeted, like for girls struggling with hormonal acne. Like, there's so much out there that it's like, what can I possibly create that's like not the same already for that? And I'm not saying I'll
Mhm.
never create something that's more like targeted to my personal brand in the future. I definitely have ideas, but never did I really think like if you would have asked me like 2 years ago, like, would you ever create like a men's line or get into the space, I would have been like, no. But you know what, I'm really happy with it, and I think that this can open up like a different side of things for myself that's kind of like away from my personal brand, which I always think it's good to like branch out and try new things. And yeah, maybe the brand's not for my followers necessarily, maybe it's for my followers, dads, husband, or maybe some of the followers that I have that just want that simple routine, because women can use it too. Like people are like, oh, but why are you making skincare like in terms of gender? I'm like, it doesn't matter, like anyone can use it, but I feel like with the stereotypical man, like if it doesn't say that it's for men, they won't use it, so that's why we put that
Mhm.
on there. But of course anyone can use it. It's skincare. I have like lots of idea moving forward with it to just kind of get men more comfortable with taking care of themselves in like a personal routine. um
That
but
right
yeah.
there. Men
Yeah.
taking care of themselves. If a man can go to the gym and eat healthy, he can have a good skincare routine.
Yes. And
Ooh,
that's exactly what we're targeting with that. Yeah, so it is, not exactly what people were expecting, and that's fine. I wasn't, expecting everyone to be like, oh my gosh, this is everything I needed and more, because it's just not my following. But this brand isn't necessarily like just my followers. We're trying to build like a community outside of that, because the community isn't really there for as I said, the stereotypical man who like has never washed his face in his life. So
yeah.
that's really what we're trying to do. And it's a hard mission, because convincing them to do it day to day is hard. But I think once they try the product, and the men that we have had try the product so far, like they're hooked right away, because they're like, wait, this is actually really easy and my skin feels great. And I'm like, perfect. That was the goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I think it's a great stocking stuffer. Hint, hint, ladies who are listening to this, go to 9to5skin.com and look at the product. And I think if you wanted to shove that in your man's stocking, I think
mhm.
doing both of you a favor.
Yeah. And I, not to do like, okay, I'm gonna do a little plug here, but we just launched
Do it.
our subscription model where you get your first month free. So if you're looking to try it out, you do get your first month for free, which is always great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I honestly, my favorite companies are the ones who are like, listen, you could try it out risk free. And that is so beyond
Yep.
genius.
Because we know you'll love it, so we're good with
Yeah.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have about 3 minutes left,
Okay.
but my last question for you is going to get a little deep, but
Okay.
feel free to ramble on. What is the lasting impact that you want to leave on this world?
Ooh, you're making
Yeah,
me think far
I'm like,
out. Okay.
let's just like cut right to the
Right.
surface. No pressure.
I think I think the biggest thing is like just helping people find their confidence. And I think you know, whether that is with my personal content, with this brand, with 9 to 5, because I think, you know, taking care of yourself does make you feel better, you know, like working out, eating
Yes.
good, like doing skincare, like it all contributes to it. And whatever projects I work on in the future, like the biggest thing is like making an impact on how people feel, and especially when it's things like makeup and skincare, you know, it's all fun and games, but there is a deeper message behind it. And I think that's what I try to share with my content. Like, even if I'm trying out a fun makeup trend, like I always do try to give a deeper message that it's like, you know, this is fun, but it's really about how you feel and feeling good in yourself. My like lasting impact, I would say a huge goal of mine is to make acne more mainstream in media as well. Like I hope that I can do that in my lifetime at least. I think the wheels are already turning like as an industry, but I hope that I can also have like a contribution to that
Yeah.
further than, you know, just my accounts and stuff. So I don't think I have a specific like answer for you, but I would love to at some point see like, you know, the front page of a magazine unfiltered, like acne scars, acne, like whatever that, you know, or
Yes.
like different skin issues, you know, eczema, like rosacea, like whatever it is, because there's so many things that like a lot of people struggle with their skin, like showing that and having it like front page and out there to see, because I think that can make a really big impact on people in general. So that's I would say like my goal at least within my lifetime, to hopefully contribute to that movement a bit more.
Ooh, girl, I feel you right there. And you already are. I hope you know that. I hope you know
Thank
that
you.
you've changed so many people's lives. And just even from the podcast we did, which you guys need to go listen to after this one, it's
It
on
was a
Loud
good
Talk with
one.
Lavi.
It
It's
was a good
such a
one.
good one. I got a couple DMs from people who listened to it and they were like, thank you so much for this
I
open
love
and raw
that.
conversation. So I think that these two podcasts together will just, it's like the perfect concoction. But
Yes.
you definitely have made a mark, and I know that that will continue to happen. And it's just really cool to have a community of people who just understand and get it. And
Hmm.
if you guys don't know, really quick, Lavi was the first person that I ever had seen in real life who had like, I had given me that feeling of representation where like she came up to me at this brand trip that we were on, and she was like, hey, I love your content, whatever. And then we ended up making a video, text her check, like that thing went viral. It was just really, really, really cool to get together in that way and like just have that impact, even in just like the small amount of time we were together. So I know that you're just going to make a huge impact moving forward. So
No, you as well. We definitely need
thank
more
you.
UnPerfect Loud Talk collabs in the future.
Oh, so true. Well, where can people find you real quick?
Lavinia Rusanda everywhere, and then Loud Talk with Lavi everywhere as well. And then if you want to check out 9 to 5 at 9to5skin.com.
Ooh, do it, guys. You won't regret it. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe, give thumbs up, follow 5 stars. Okay. Love you guys so much. We'll see you on next week's episode.
Bye.